Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to another PyConline AU news update. Now, you can see I have a very special guest with me on the stream tonight. But before I introduce Sean, I want to do a quick housekeeping message to all of the amazing speakers who are busy preparing all of their talks for the conference. Over the next day or so, you'll hear from the conference team with all of the details on how to get set up for your tech check, join the green room and our backstage platform, and a real deep dive into what it takes for us to support you presenting at the conference. So we know you've got some questions. We're working really, really hard to get that messaging out to you, and it's coming soon, I promise. But that's all of the housekeeping out of the way. And I now get to introduce to the stream Sean Brady. Sean, thank you for joining me this evening. How are you?
Very good, Jack. How are you?
I'm doing marvelously. Now, you are dialing in from north of the border, up in the Sunshine State. How are things up north in Queensland?
Oh, well, by our standards, it's still freezing, but by everywhere else, it's fantastic. But we're on our final cold snap before things start to pick up a little bit. So it's good. It's good. It's still better than the weather in Ireland.
Indeed, it would be. No, I'm looking forward to some of the temperatures as they drift southward from your beaches. Look, I'm really excited to have you on the stream tonight because, well, cat's out of the bag now. You're going to be doing a keynote talk at this year's PyConline Extremely Online conference. Now, if I've read my script correctly, you're a structural engineer. Now, I find that fascinating. Can you tell us a little bit more about your line of work?
Yeah, so I'm a structural engineer, but the interesting thing is I don't build new things. So I'm forensic in what I do. I investigate why things fall down, why things go wrong, and I think the interesting thing for me is that we structural engineers like to think that we're incredibly rational people, that we're science-based people. And when you dig into why things fall down, you find that things don't fall down for technical reasons. Things fall down primarily because people like us are involved, and we've got organizational problems and behavioral problems and all sorts of things. And we're not near as rational as we think we are. In fact, we're very predictably irrational. We behave irrationally in a very consistent way, and that's the sort of stuff I dig into in the investigations. It's fascinating to see why things go wrong.
Wow, I love that. Completely different to my way of thinking as a software developer by trade. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about how Python comes into your day-to-day work? It's not the sort of thing I'd expect straight away, but you've got a fascinating story on how you use it in your line of work.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we do is we end up always getting a lot of data, and you have to cope with that data. So I really use Python as a way of managing, analyzing the data, and particularly when you get to the graphing side of things. So for me, the graphing is just pure storytelling. You know, we're trying to explain why something fell down. That's often to people who aren't engineers, the people in the legal profession, and the ability to redraw graphs quickly, to pull your data together in the right way. That flexibility with Python is just amazing from a storytelling perspective in terms of trying to convey meaning from data. It's been a bit of a game changer for us.
Wow, it sounds like this talk fits perfectly into a combination of our DevOps specialist track, our data science and analytics specialist track, and conference as a whole. So that's fantastic. It sounds like the perfect intersection of topics. Now, I hear you do a podcast or three. Is this the sort of thing that you talk through if people are fascinated to learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. So we talk all about engineering failures and what happens in one of the podcasts. We've got a whole series on Apollo 13 about what went wrong there. And we've got a new one coming out soon, which is going to be on mining safety. If you're after any of them, then jump on iTunes and search for Sean Brady and you'll find them. And we'll be talking about them. Well, we'll get the information out of the conference as well. So we'll be able to do that.
Definitely. Look, that sounds fantastic. I think I'm going to have to go and subscribe and give it a listen. I know some of my favorite stories and the sort of situations or events that I've learnt the most from as an engineer have been some of those massive failures or disasters. You know, I'm a massive aviation nerd. I love flying when we used to be able to do it. And there's a lot that we as software developers, as engineers, as, you know, the Python community can learn from other industries, other sectors, and the way that they understand psychology, process, organizations, you know, engineering and failure. So I'm super excited to hear your keynote this year. And to learn from your wisdom and your expertise. If there's one thing that you can share with attendees now as they're planning to attend the conference and they're putting their calendars aside to watch your talk, what would that one thing be? What sort of message or topic can you get the attendees excited about?
Yeah, we're going to pull apart, which is an interesting topic. So as I said, we look a lot at the human causes of failure, the organizational causes of failure in what we do. And we're going to talk specifically at the conference about the concept of expertise. And I think all of us have the view that, we possess expertise in what we do, whether it's in software development or structural engineering. And we think it's a good thing. And by and large, it is. And we think by accruing more of it, we'll make less mistakes. And by and large, we do. But what I really want to challenge people with is, what happens if that's not always true? What happens if there are situations where your expertise actually doesn't help you? Or even more of a twist, what happens if you're in a situation where your expertise can actually cause you significant issues, where your expertise can actually play a role in the failure that's about to happen? So it's quite counterintuitive. So I think the most important thing to bring is an open mind. And see if you as a conference attendee is not near as rational as you might like to think you are.
Well, I, for one, can't wait. Now, for everybody watching the stream or perhaps catching the repeat, it's really important that you head to pycon.org.au/attend. There's a link down there. So if you head down there to head to pycon.org.au/attend, that's where you can register to join the conference this year. I'm really excited to watch your talk, Sean, and I hope from behind the scenes with running the conference, I'll be able to enjoy it live like all of our attendees. But for now, I have dinner to get to with my partner. So it's a short, sharp, and exciting news stream tonight. Sean, thank you for joining me on the stream, and I cannot wait for your talk.
Thank you very much, Jack. Bye-bye.